What's going on? This is Raymond with Car Dealer Life. I am leaving the bank this morning and headed into the car lot. So I want to talk to you guys about taking advice and listening to people on YouTube, right? Who do you listen to? What should you do if you're starting your car lot? You know, how do you get to this point of success? You know, is it all by yourself? Do you supposed to be closed off? So this video is going to be all about listening to people on YouTube. Here we go. All right, let me adjust this cam. Bit of advice is going to be, and I am on my camera is hosted. My hands are on the steering wheel, and you guys are riding along with me. I think I'm gonna grab me some lunch from Chick-fil-A. So here we go. Taking advice from people on YouTube. So the car business is a big place. There's a lot of different ways to do the car business. There's a lot of different amount of success, and that amount of success depends on you. There's a lot of different philosophies that you can do. And so here's what I would say to taking advice on YouTube. Number one, do not call people out for being different. All right, if someone has a different model in selling their cars from you, that does not mean that they do not know what they're talking about. Okay, so definitely if the information is not for you, if the model is not for you, let's not be condescending, right? Let's not be negative towards someone else's success. That's the first thing. Second thing is understand what it is that you want to do for your car lot. You know, what type of success do you want? And then you go from there. But there are so many different ways of running a car lot. But I would challenge you to even understanding, well, what is it that you want to do, right? I mean, you should have had some type of idea, whether that is via a business plan, or that is just you know, sitting down thinking about, okay, when I open my car lot, this is how I'm going to do it. Whatever that thing may be, you ought to already have an understanding of what it is that you want to accomplish. And if you don't have that, then nobody on YouTube is going to be able to help you, because you're unsure about what it is that you want. So the first thing before you're taking advice from anybody on YouTube is to get clear get clear as to what you want for your car lot and your success. So let me talk a little bit about who I have listened to on YouTube and some ideas. So first things first. So those are my tips about listening to people on YouTube. Let me tell you how I did it and what you know, my thought process of this business. So so let me introduce myself to you guys. All right, so I am a Atlanta native, born and raised. At a very young age, cars were absolutely my passion. I remember from, you know, first, second grade. So what is that? That's, you know, 5 and 6 years old. Of being around my father, going to salvage yards, taking interest in the cars that weren't even running. I could tell you the make and model from a car, make, model, and year of a car by being in a passenger of another car. So I really studied cars. I loved cars. Growing up, I was always around them, and I always took interest in them. For the most part, it was a contribution, you know, a results. Hold on, guys. I gotta get out the way. A result from my father. Wow, they've put a median in here. Wow, how about that? As a result from my father being around cars. So I always had a passion for cars. So I always knew at some point I would get into the car industry, right? But I didn't get into the car industry right away. So in the beginning of my hold on, guys, I'm sorry. I want to start making live videos, but I don't meet the qualifications. So a lot of my stuff is live, unedited, you know, fully, it's just the day in the life of a car dealer, right? The channel name is Car Dealer Life. So Car Dealer Life. So you are with me in my life here and at the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. So I'm going to talk until the person comes up to the car, and then I'm going to order my food. So at a very young age, I always knew I wanted to be in the car business. But I didn't quite know what I was going to do, and life took its course. So I graduated high school. Before I graduated, I joined the United States Army in the National Guard at the age of 17. I served with the National Guard for one contract. My MOS was a 31 Bravo, which is the military police. So I did the whole National Guard drilling every other weekend thing for years and years. I did not renew a contract with the National Guard. I was honorably discharged from the National Guard, and I went on. In the meantime, while being in the National Guard, I went into property management, real estate, right after high school while I was in college. I was in real estate. Well, I started real estate at a very young age. As a leasing agent in the apartment industry. So I worked my way up from a leasing agent to assistant property manager to property manager. And then I sought to get my real estate license. Hold on, guys. I'm at the window. Hey, how you doing?
How are you? Can I get your name, please?
Name is going to be Ray.
Ray, what can I get for you?
Let me do a number 4 count.
Number 4 count. What's the drink?
I will take a Sprite.
Okay. What else can I get for you?
That'll be it.
Any sauce?
Yeah, let me have 2 barbecue, 2 buffalo, and 2 ketchups.
Okay. It's gonna be $8.26 cash or card.
I will pay at the window.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right, guys. Got cash on my favorite card today. Do I pay right here? Hold on again. It's lunchtime, baby. Gotta eat. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All the cash here. I will get the tax. Okay.
Are you sure?
That's fine. You don't have to get under the car. I'll just come back because I got a 1 penny credit. Have a good day. All right. I should drop my penny on the floor. One of them. So where was I? I was actually at the point of talking about my career. So I started out in real estate and property management. In 2012, I got my real estate license. I practiced real estate for a long time. I got my broker's license in 2016. And I opened my own real estate firm in 2016. Yep. Thank you. Make sure my sauces are in here, because I am a sauce kind of a guy. So yeah, I got my real estate broker's license in 2016, and I did the real estate, and I still currently do real estate. But after years and years of running my company, being successful in my company, I said, okay, I'm ready to open my car lot. Before I opened my real estate broker company, my real estate company, I was in between, do I open the car lot and the real estate company at the same time, or do I, which one do I open first? Because I knew at the same time would probably not be a viable option. So I knew it would have to be a choice between the two. So I quite naturally chose real estate because it was something that I had already put in work. I had already reached levels of success with it. So I decided to stay with that. But I always knew I wanted to have a car lot. Me personally, I am a young guy. I am 28 years old. I will be 29 in 2 months, but I'm a young guy, and I made some decisions in life that were good and some weren't so good. But in learning in life, you learn, right? Time is the best teacher. So in long story short, I have purchased many cars in my time. With my love of cars, obviously, with my success and being able to afford cars, I purchased a lot of cars. Some of those cars were cash. Some of those cars were buy here, pay here. Some of those cars were financed. And so I had a level, like I had a balance of oh wow, somebody got in an accident behind me. Are you serious? Wow. A fender bender. Okay. Wow. All right. They didn't hit me, did they? I hope not. I didn't feel anything. So I had this education already, this knowledge of a balance of how do I do this business. So I knew when I eventually opened, so I knew I wanted to open a car lot. So years go by. I got to a place in my real estate firm where I was successful, and I was able to invest in another business. So I decided to open my car lot in 2018 is when I decided. December 2018, I decided to open my car lot. My car lot was completely open in February of 2018, and I decided like pretty much the end of December is when I decided. So it only took me about 60 days to be in fully in business. Before that time, so between December and February, I was actually researching the car business. I wanted to figure out, okay, what did I want? Which philosophy did I want to have? Which programs did I want to operate in my car lot? So I was comfortable with buy here, pay here. I knew buy here, pay here would be very easy to do because I wouldn't have to buy expensive cars. One of the things I thought about was I had experience. I had bought a hold on, make sure I don't have anything hanging out of my nose. I had purchased a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee from a buy here, pay here lot. The deal was structured as such. I paid $5,000 down. It was no credit checks, no employment checks, no reference checks. It was literally down payment, driver's license equal approved. So I saw that, and that was on a 2015. And I bought that car in 2017. So the car was only like 2 years old, maybe not even 2 years old. It was probably a year and a half old. And so I had already saw what it looked like, and I knew how to duplicate it because of my experience with buy here, pay here cars. So I said, I definitely want to do buy here, pay here. But then my real estate training and all of my knowledge in the industry, being in property management, taking rental payments from tenants and approving tenants and qualifying people, that was in my head as well. Like, okay, do I qualify these people or do I do it the same way? Obviously, the car lot that I bought my Grand Cherokee from has been in business 30 years. They have so much money on the books that, okay, it's not as consequential to them on the default than it will be for me. So I said, okay, I'm gonna do buy here, pay here, but I'm not gonna do it as easy as, driver's license and down payment. But then I constantly thought about it. I said, well, okay, Atlanta is a big place, and when you're having a car lot, you have to decide: do I be the difference, or do I try to compete with all of these other companies, or do I do it completely different? Because doing the same thing, you get into competition, right? If you got 3 car lots on the same road and they all do the same thing, now we're talking about, okay, well, what separates them? A lot of times what separates them may be the inventory, the age of the cars, the whatever. There's a lot of different differentials a couple things have to be different, right? They can't be exactly the same, or else somebody's gonna take the short end of the stick. So I knew that trying to compete on the same level would probably not be a good idea. So I decided to do something different, and that difference for me was actually doing it the same way the car lot did it, with the driver's license and down payment. And here's the thing, that is unique. You don't have a lot of car lots taking that liability, taking that risk. So it was unique. Now there are other people doing it, but it's not it's a rarity to see that in that way, a true driver's license and down payment only. So I said, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. But then I got hung up on the interest. Now, do I charge these people interest? Do I not charge them interest? The car that I bought from charged 4% interest. So there were interest there with them. So I said, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't do any interest. And then I was continuing to search on YouTube to find somebody that had a car lot that was open to talking about their philosophy and how they're running their business. And I found a gentleman by the name of Rick Dyer. Rick Dyer was open about his program and or the way he ran his business, essentially. Buy Here Pay Here had been in business way before Rick Dyer was around, and he says that as well, but he had a unique way of doing it. So I looked at his videos and I chose to definitely try to operate his plan. In the beginning it was very difficult here in Atlanta because of the prices of the units, and the whole process is a lot different from where Rick was doing business. But I say all that to say you have to have a clear direction of what you want to do. All right, and when you are clear on that, you're able to pull from ideas from other people and either decide to institute them if they are in alignment with your ultimate goal and your ultimate plan. But if you don't have a plan, you're going to be setting yourself up to fail. All right. Yes, you can watch Rick Dyer's videos and you can try to do everything that he does, but if you're not sure that that's what you want to do, you're not going to do it wholeheartedly. You're going to do it half-assed, and in most cases it's going to fail. Okay. So that is very important. That is very important to have a plan before you start taking advice from anybody, even me. All right. This channel will start to have good content about the car business, the car industry, the do's and the don'ts in the business. And I pledge to be very active. A lot of my content will come from this very environment, in my car as I'm driving, because that's when the ideas are flowing. You have